All right, guys, let's continue now with the remaining parts of what we're going to show you. So if you go and look here, you'll be able to go and see that we have another example, which is that example here. And if you look at that example, you'll be able to go and have a look at other things. You know, there's obviously numbering here, which is much better. Executive summary should be before the table of content, and it's not. They're talking about number of figures and tables, which is good. If you go and look here at the charter, they're talking about the vision, they're talking about the mission. Maybe the structure could be improved, but still it's very brief. It's not too long like the other example. Success criteria. You know, how are we going to go and really judge the success of any particular items? We go and have the product backlog. What is the project team? Now, again, what is missing, guys, here before we create user stories? What is missing? Is there anything missing before we write the user stories? Sudipta?
Yes, sir.
What is missing? In comparison to this example, what is missing? Can you see what's missing? So look here and look at this example. What's missing? Did they define the users here, guys?
No, that's missing.
Okay. Look at the format they've used. Look at the format and look at the format of the acceptance criteria.
So can you zoom this one? Be small to see. Oh, yes, that's fine.
Okay. So look here. Look at the acceptance criteria. It's saying interface, Alcatel, PAB, 2 teams for each site. Look at this. So look here and look at how it's written and the acceptance criteria. So which one is better, guys? Which one do you see is better? The first example or this example? Do you like this more? Or do you like
No, I don't need it.
this more? What do you think?
It should be mixture.
What's that?
If possible, we can just combine both and make one,
You can combine,
including story ID.
but if you look
And
here,
I mean, like,
if you look here, they haven't defined any users and they haven't written the actual user story in the recommended format and the acceptance criteria. Look how it's written, interface Alcatel. They're not talking about who is the user, what they're gonna do, how they're gonna do it, why they're gonna do it. There's no information here. And there's obviously not a checklist of the acceptance criteria. In contrast, here, you can clearly see the user story. It's telling you who the user is. It's telling you what they want to do. And it's telling you why they want to do it. And it's giving you a checklist of the acceptance criteria. I recommend you do something like this because it's even better than what is basically shown on this example down here. Does that make sense? Is that clear? Let's continue. So there's all of these user stories. There's story points, which talks about the complexity. There's a priority, which one are more priority than others. There's the acceptance criteria. You go down here, there's more than one sprint, there's a sprint retrospective, there's research, there is more than one sprint, although if you look here, they're not having more than one stage per sprint, which is a big negativity here. I recommend you don't do that. Sprint one, talk about it. You know, you talk about each sprint. You try to write the user story. You know, sprint retrospective, what went right, what went wrong. Sprint two, you do this for each sprint. And you go all the way to the group activity. You talk about what everybody have done and table of contribution percentage, conclusion, and the Slack and Trello screenshots. So many of these are actually required to be able to go and get the job done. So we need to see what you're doing. We need to
Do we have to send a screenshot also of how we logged in into the system?
No. Just the communication and just the, you know, the various stages that are available in Trello. So screenshots as much as you can. Go inside the user story, show us the details you've added in the user story. And obviously there's all of these referencing that you can go and really add. So that's the other example. And there's my example that I showed you that is basically giving you a bit, even one thing further improvement that you can go and actually try to do. Is that clear? Any questions? Okay. Gonna move to the next part. All right, so the assignments are not for this case. So the one you see there are not for the same case, they are for a different case. They are displayed for illustrative purposes only, and Turnitin will quickly detect any copying. There's some extra requirements in section 5 which we've covered, but you know, you might find some information about it. If there's any extra information you need to add in research, please make sure you go and do the adding and do the research. I'm going to go very quickly to answering various questions. Why would an organization, my friends, adopt Agile? Why would an organization have to adapt to Agile? Why would we need to be Agile when we're working with everybody and trying to go and actually meet what the client wants? Why is Agile important? Anyone? Okay, Parminda?
Yes, sir.
Why do you think we need to adapt to be Agile? Why is that important? What do you think? Don't be scared, guys. It's every answer is valuable and every answer is respected.
It's easy and quickly adapt to change.
It is quickly and easy. We go and adapt to change. Okay. Why is that important?
Collaborate more frequently with the team members.
What's that?
Say communicate more frequently with the team members.
You can communicate more with team members. You can try to understand what people really need. You can basically try to understand the rewards that people go and like. You basically try to really
experiment different things.
You experiment different things. That's correct. You know, you simply are delivering to the client the improvements that are basically needed. You're delivering something much more better to the client than basically what you would usually go and deliver. So the reason why it's important is because if you're not Agile, you're not going to basically be delivering the changes that the clients really need. So it's really about finding better ways to do the projects. It's about getting a win-win situation because we're delivering a better outcome for the business and we're delivering a better outcome for our clients. If we give a better outcome to the clients, we're going to make sure that they are going to be more and more satisfied. That's exactly what we want. We want them to go, we want them to be satisfied, because if they're not satisfied, we're not going to be able to go and really continue to go and, get them and keep them as a clients in the long term. We need to go agile because we want to create an innovative environment. We want to create world-class organizations that keep on finding better and better way of doing things. We're going to go and be agile because we deliver results within months instead of basically waiting years to go and create them. And basically we go and, think about the business objectives, which is we need to be smart. There are smart objectives we covered today, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and so on. We need to go and have all of these smart objectives being delivered accordingly. What are the smart objectives? Well, specific, significant, and stretching. Measurable, meaningful, and motivational. People need to be motivated to go and really get the job done and do something. Something that is agreed upon. People agree of what is basically going to be delivered. Something that is attainable. Something that is achievable. Because if not, people won't be motivated to go and really try to get the job done. Something that is acceptable by everybody. Something that is action-oriented, where people could go and create the action that is needed to be able to go and get the outcomes required to go and really be delivered. We talk about something that is realistic. What is that realistic thing? Realistic, if people could really think that they can deliver it, that's really what makes it realistic. So we need to deliver things that are realistic. We need to go and deliver things that are relevant, deliver things that are reasonable, deliver things that are rewarding, and deliver things that are going to be result-oriented. People could see the results and see our focus on delivering all of these particular outcomes. Time. They need to be time-based. I want you to deliver things by this particular time. That's what we basically, try to go and focus on. Something that is time-bound. Something that is timely. If it's not delivered within the timeline, we're not going to really get the benefits that we would like to go and actually should be getting. Something that is tangible, in other words, something we can go and really measure or look at and really confirm that it has been actually been delivered. And finally, something that is trackable. We need to track progress, track to make sure and double check the improvements we needed to go and deliver and the outcomes are actually being delivered. List all the traditional traps, other traps that occurs using Pinbook. The traps you should avoid in implementing Agile project management. Well, when you go and try to work on a goal, and that goal is not clear, that objective is not clear, when the vision is not clear, when people don't understand what they need to go and really do, what is going to simply happen there is you're going to go and find out that you're not going to be able to go and really get any of the outcome that we needed to go and actually deliver. So you need to basically be very sure, think about the objectives. What are we trying to go and deliver, and make sure there is clarity of all of these objectives and they've been delivered accordingly. Poorly defined business requirements. We need to understand exactly what we need to go and actually do. If we don't actually understand what is needed, if we don't understand what are the business requirements, if we don't go and deliver those business requirements with exactly what the business needs, we basically not going to deliver the value that is going to be expected. So it's a poorly defined business requirements, which mean the user stories we go and try to develop, they won't be in a great shape because they're not focused on really delivering what the client really needs. When we give inadequate training, you want to get the right outcomes, try to get people to understand and learn how we can go and get outcomes delivered using Agile. If they don't understand, if they're not trained, it doesn't matter whatever you try to go and deliver, the outcomes won't be deliverable. It's going to be very difficult for these people to really get the goals that are needed. If we go and set a target that is very unrealistic, even if it's agile, even if people work quickly and try to do their best, they still won't be able to go and really get the outcomes that are really needed. You need to go and make sure that things are going to be realistic and be delivered accordingly in a realistic manner. If we have over-committed resources, we don't need that. We need to let the team decide what they can realistically achieve and what they can not really achieve. So if we overcommit the resources and expect that we are actually not getting the outcomes to be delivered accordingly, then this is going to be an outcome. This is going to be something that is going to be pretty bad. It might look as if agile is not a good outcome, but in reality, it have nothing to do with agile. It just simply have to do with the fact that we have actually overcommitted the resources and we expected to go and get the outcome. I give more and more work to people and I'm expecting to be able to go and get the outcomes that I would like to go and really get. Well, under pressure, you're giving them something new to go and do, you simply won't go and really get the best outcomes you would like to go and really get. Repeating the mistakes. The cardinal sin of any project framework is about repeating the mistakes every single time. Don't repeat the mistakes. You need to go and understand that what a mistake is, look at it, understand it, recognize it, and the best thing you need to do from there is to make sure you do your action so that that mistake is actually not going to really be repeated. Any mistake that is basically be repeated is basically very simply like we are really going and wasting our time. There is no point to go and waste your time into something that you could potentially go and deliver in a much better manner. What are the 4 trademarks of an agile organization? Well, quickly evolving environments. All stakeholders demand patterns are evolving very, very quickly. Customers want things, partners want things, regulators want things, investors want things. A lot of things want to change quickly. And agile is the best thing for us to be able to go and get things done quickly. New disruptive technology being implemented all the time. Machine learning, Internet of Things, robotics, digitization, bioscience advancements, all of these requires us to go and deliver things by working very quickly and efficiently. Accelerating digitization and making information available for everybody. Again, how are you going to do that? Through systems, through integration, through technology, through working and communicating with various people across various areas. That's the sort of things we need to go and really bear in mind. The new word for talent is another trademark for agile organization. As creating knowledge and learning-based tasks become more important, organizations need distinctive value proposition to acquire and retain the best talent, which is often diverse. The learning workers often have more diverse origins, thoughts, composition, and experience. And these are the sort of people we need to go and try to recruit, and we need to try to go and keep within the organization, because they are the sort of people that will really deliver the value that we would like to go and deliver within our business. What are the 10 agile objectives that are smart? Well, fit to purpose product. Something that really is meeting what the client really needs. Something that is faster time to market. We don't need to wait years and years and years where technology would change to go and get a product. Something getting me things more quickly. An early return on investment. Let me work on a few features that will be able to be released to the client, and because I can release them, the client will start paying money for it. I will get a return, and then I'll be able to continue working on the other things that I would like to go and really work on. Flexibility. If people basically, need things, I need to be flexible to give them what they want, because it's all about being flexible. If I'm not flexible, I won't basically go and meet their requirements, and that's basically going to be a negative aspect. So we need to be flexible to meeting exactly what the client really needs. Less risk. We start with the small things We build it, we make sure it's working, and we add to it, and we add to it, and we add to it. And we slowly, I'm basically improving things. And any mistakes, I'm trying to go and deal with these mistakes accordingly very early on. Very high visibility. Agile provides excellent visibility. Everybody, key stakeholders can see how things are progressing, can see if there's any problem. We're always collaborating with them. We're always showing them what we do. And that basically helps us to go and really get the progress that we would like to go and really achieve there. And finally, we talk about greater efficiency. We need to kind of work in a much more efficient manner. So continuous improvement is a key part of a reflective, agile culture. We're always improving. And if we are improving, it's mean we are actually becoming much more efficient, becoming basically able of getting things done. We basically need to go and have a way to actually go and measure things and see how basically things are going to go and be progressing. But, fast, cheap, better, that's the sort of things we are able to go and actually improve when we are trying to go and think about the 10 agile objectives that are really smart. More, predictability, we can actually clearly explain to people what they are going to be getting. Because, for example, we can measure velocity, we can measure how much work we've actually managed to go and complete, let's say in every sprint. If we know, for example, on average, we can create 30 story points, we can predict easily when something is going to be completed in terms of the work. So we can go and predict we're going to be able to finish the remaining 60 user stories in 2 sprints because we do on average 30 features or 30 user stories per sprint, for example, or 30 story points per sprint. So you go and make a understanding of how much on average you complete work, you see how much work is remaining, and from there you create an estimation of how much work is really remaining and how long do you need to be able to get that work to be completed. Satisfied customers. Well, if we are giving to the customer exactly what they need, it's really the biggest thing. It's basically what is going to make us really winning, because the agile concept is really about thinking about the customer, getting feedback from them and giving them what they want. And finally, there's a better culture and better morale. You are trusting people. You tell them, I know what you're doing. I know you're doing it very well. I trust in your ability. And because you've shown them that and you show them the trust and you're celebrating all of their success, the workforce is happier. The culture is very positive, which will basically help you to get more and more successful projects. The norm is not we are basically negative and we are not getting the job done. The more is we are being positive and we are basically getting all the requirements and all the improvements that are needed to be able to go and get delivered. What is velocity? Velocity, I mentioned that earlier. I showed you that example on a spreadsheet earlier. So I showed you that example. I said, imagine I have, let's say, show you that example again. Okay, I said, imagine I have months 1, months 2, month 3, month 4. We look at the number of features we can deliver in each month. And I said, okay. I said, well, month 1, we're doing 10 features. Every feature is 2 story point. Month 2, month 3, month 4, we go and see every month how many features we can deliver. We go and see in terms of size, how big is each feature. When I multiply the feature times the story points, I get the total. And then what I've done after is I can see that every month, in this month, I did 20 story points. In this month, we did, let's say 28 story points, 125 story points, 30 story points. Then I organize them ascending. So I know that this is the lowest. And when this is the lowest, This is the lowest. I don't really consider that. And when I saw this as the highest, I don't consider that. And what you do is you go to the rest and you create the average. So you go and see on average equal average of what I do. So on average, I'm able to do 33 user stories per month. Okay, great. I have, 200, if I say stories left, 200, okay, time required, or if you want sprints required to complete the remaining work, because this is on average, average per sprint, this one here, average per sprint. So if I go and look here in terms of my average per sprint, which does not consider the lowest time I got job done and the highest time, because this is usually one-offs, it goes on the average. So go and say on average, I do 33 user stories per sprint. I have 200, if you want, story points left to do. So how many sprints are required? Equal 200 divided by 33. I need 6 more sprints to be able to go and get the job done. So based on the velocity, which tells me how much do I complete per sprint, I'll be able to know how many more sprints I need to go and do to be able to go and get the job completed. And that's really relating to this point here, which is about the velocity. So it's basically telling you the same thing. You're going to go to describe the relative size of the work in ascending order. 5 is large and 1 is low. You're going to assign the value to be, to everything to be done by the team. So 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. You're going to then calculate the total number of units delivered, known as the velocity. And you're going to go and reduce the minimum velocity, remove it, or remove the maximum velocity. And then you go and calculate the average, and based on that average, the average velocity, and then you know from there how long something will need to be completed. And this is here what I've done. By creating the average, I was able to go and create the average velocity, and I was be able to know, story points left to do, and how many sprints are required to be able to get the remaining, which is 200 points left divided by 33 average velocity. I need 6 sprints to go and get the job done. So, question 7, what are the cultural prerequisites for an organization going overall agile? Embracing agile. Guys, before we can go anywhere, we need to make sure people are accepting the philosophy. We need to ensure we kind of train them about, various things, train them about collaboration. We need to make sure that the team has the ability to go and make decisions, not, we have to accept that they need to be empowered. We're going to basically have to go and have a commitment to provide significant business involvement. We need to speak to them and understand exactly what they need at any point of time so that we can deliver exactly what they need. We need to have agreement to incremental delivery, and people they know they're not going to get everything at one go. They're going to get things one step after another step. Easy access to all the team members. Preferably, we need to collocate them in the same place. Stability, the team is not going to keep on changing. Get people with the right skills and right mindset. Get people basically, to have a size limit. Maybe you have, up to 10 people, and supportive commercial arrangements. We need to trust people, collaborate with them, have that collaboration, which is much more important than saying, oh, it's going to be in the contract, and if it's not in the contract, I'm not going to give it to you. You need to create trust. You need to create collaboration and commitment by everybody, because Agile is about a lot of exploration that will help us to become much more efficient. What is burn-up chart? Guys, it's simply a tool that basically helps us to go and have a look about how things need to go and be progressed. So if I was to go and show you on Firefox, it basically looks something like this. You can see what is the estimated effort required. So I'm going to go and make it a bit bigger. You can see in red what is the estimated effort in terms of how much work is really needed to go and be done versus the actual. So the actual are, I have less, work is going well. Oh, things stopping. I'm not getting any work done. I'm having an issue. Then suddenly I'm doing more work and suddenly I have to work much more harder to ensure I'm going to finish things within the right timeline. So you're comparing your estimated effort in red with the actual effort, because the amount of work you might need to do might be less or might be more than what is needed. You're basically making tracking to see how you're progressing in terms of delivering the work. And by seeing how you are progressing, you'll get an estimation of when you are going to go and be finishing your work. Any questions at all? Okay. So we need to know the total work we need to go and do over time, and we need to go and see the accumulation of work completed to see, are we doing more work than needed or less work than needed? And we keep on tracking up until we have done all the work that is needed and we basically reach the zero duration. Any questions, my friends? Okay. Thank you very kindly for all your time. Have a great night.